I attempted to make a friend in Stardew Valley solely through help wanted quests, so you don't have to. And trust me, after watching what I went through, you won't want to try it out for yourself. I can promise you that. My ideal victim for my little experiment was Alex. I feel like he doesn't really get enough love. He's just sort of there, or at least that's my experience. So instead of showering him with gifts, I'll just hope he'll request my services. Whatever those services are, within reason, I guess. Plus, he is a bachelor, so I'll only need 8 hearts to max out our friendship. And while we're here, let me make a small little disclaimer. I did do some research beforehand, but it was minimal. I saw that you won't get help wanted requests from random villagers if you don't know them. So I'm sticking to just knowing Alex. Okay, right off the bat, scratch that. I'm sticking to Alex, Lewis, and Robin. Hopefully. I mean, I was forced against my will to be introduced to Lewis and Robin, so that was out of my hands. And they do have some other miscellaneous help wanted quests that someone like Alex wouldn't. So we'll see who comes out on top. Someone who requires less hearts to reach max friendship, or someone who has more quest opportunities. Wasting absolutely no time, I made sure to greet Alex on my first day in this godforsaken town. I planted my starter parsnips because I need to embrace the hoarder way of life just in case Alex decides he wants some. Or I guess if Robin and Lewis do as well. And would you look at that? I overexerted myself as I gained a new skill point. I couldn't get more talented if I tried. Okay, the same can't be said for the next day as I'm not off to the best start. There's my first help wanted request, but it's for Clint. He did not make the cut. I don't even know this man. Get out of here. I won't be servicing you, Clint. And okay, I did end up picking it up, but picking it up and fulfilling it are two very different things. And naively, I wandered down to the beach and now I know Willie. So I just restarted the day. On the bright side, with the restart, I took one look at that same Clint request and left it abandoned as nature intended. I had every intention of potentially donating some of my extra supplies to the community center in my copious amount of spare time when I wasn't fulfilling these requests. But then I'd have to know the wizard, and I can't have that. No community restoration on my watch unless it's been properly outlined on the help wanted board. And some people should rethink taking advantage of that system. I'm looking at you, Demetrius. I don't even know you. He clearly didn't get the memo and put up another request the following day. And look how sad he made Alex. That's unforgivable, Demetrius. Absolutely unforgivable. To stop Demetrius's calls for help, the fifth had no help wanted requests waiting for me. So I went to the mines because for some reason Marlin doesn't count as a villager, so I'm safe on that front. Clint greeted me the next day and I was scared, but for some reason that doesn't count as me knowing him. I guess Concerned Ape has a thing against Clint. There was a Lewis quest and my hoarding is already coming in handy as I delivered Lewis the quartz he wanted. But this dusty crusty man is holding out on me. We've remained at 0 hearts. Rude if you ask me. On my way back from being disappointed by Lewis, Harvey caught me looking through the trash and I'll let it slide him calling me out because I feel like it's okay that he called me out since he is a doctor after all. Still no quest from Alex in sight, but there was one from Robin, only it was for an anchovy and I'm boycotting Willie, so this quest will have to remain unanswered. I was left high and dry on the 8th, no request to be found. But ladies and gentlemen, mark your calendars. Alex had a help wanted quest. Finally, he wanted green algae. Digging through all the trash had paid off because I didn't need a fishing rod from Willie to get my little hands on one. I already had one, and Alex is not as grateful as I would have liked because his heart did not grow. And I'm kind of feeling like I'd like my trash green algae back. To cheer me up, Marnie dropped off my cat Cheerio. So much cheer to go around. Only now I have the misfortune of knowing Marnie. Was the cat worth it? Honestly, I can't say right now. But you better believe I will not be fulfilling any quests for Marnie. To continue this shift in luck, there was no help wanted quests, and I totally forgot Pier was closed on Wednesdays. The hits, the punches, they just kept on coming that day. And it continued into the next day as there was no help wanted quest. But I did give Robin her axe because it was a quest, so I mean, it sort of counts, right? In any case, I reached 1 heart with Robin, 0 with Lewis, and unfortunately 0 with my man Alex as well. There was no quest on the 12th or 13th because of the Egg Fest. Of course, I showed my face. After making these introductions, I then proceeded to obviously win the egg hunt. Day 14 was a Willy quest, immediate no. Day 15 was a Marnie request. She was desperate to get some labor from me, and I know I've been all talk, and I guess I'll remain all talk because for some unknown reason, I obliged. Only we also didn't get any hearts, so I'm sure I'll never make that mistake again. The next day, I came across another request from Robin, so obviously I snatched that up before anyone else could, and when I turned it back in, I guess we had lost our 1 heart before because I wasn't doing enough maintenance talking, but I did get that heart back, so it was kind of like I never even gave her that axe in the first place. There was no quest on the 17th, unfortunately. Alex, you seriously need to step up your game. And it's kind of like he knows what I'm thinking because the next day he was requesting Topaz. Of course, I scrambled right on over to the mines, fighting off some slimes for that precious jewel. I wasted no time delivering it to the man in question, and we now have 1 heart together. Now that I've got 1 heart with Robin and Alex, I'll start doing some maintenance talking every once in a while. Otherwise, I'm absolutely positive I'd never reach max friendship with anyone. Somehow, though, I noticed I now know Jazz. I'm so confused, but she's not someone who ever has a help wanted request, so I guess it's okay. But I don't like the fact the number of people I know in town is increasing. That was not a part of the plan. Robin was feeling slighted, so she posted another help wanted request. I snatched it up, gave her the flowers she wanted, and safely secured 2 hearts with the better half of the Demetrius Robin household. Willy was relentless, but his quests remained unanswered. And then I entered a drought. There were no quests on the 21st, 22nd, or 23rd. Of course, this streak didn't even end on the 24th because of the flower dance, which I did attend. I did not know most of the people there, so I just kind of awkwardly watched strangers dance the night away. Lewis felt like it was his time to shine, so I picked up his help wanted quest and delivered him some refined quartz. This man likes quartz, and I wonder if that's linked to Marnie. Not that I'd ask her. Now that leaves Lewis with 1 heart, tied with Alex. Robin is pulling ahead with 2 hearts so far. Another drought appears, so there's no quests on the 26th or 27th. There might as well not be one on the 28th either because it's a Demetrius quest, so it's as good as an empty request to me. Which means I end my first season spring with 2 hearts with Robin and 1 with both Lewis and Alex. Things are not shaping up as I expected. I didn't realize these randos would be requesting things from me and that they would be so plentiful. I want a refund. As summer rolled around, Willy was requesting yet again. Maybe one day he'll get the memo. I'm never going to help him. I was left high and dry on the 2nd, but Demetrius could not let that last on the 3rd. Of course, I did leave him high and dry. There was an ominous no-name request, and I was going back and forth internally on whether or not to complete it. I know they typically are returned to Lewis, so against my better judgment, I picked it up. But even after completing it, I remained at 1 heart with Lewis, so call me a skeptic. There was no quest on the 5th, and another slime no named request appeared on the 6th. I picked it up and completed it, only I'm still at 1 heart with Lewis, so my skepticism has turned into pessimism. I'll never be picking one of those up again. To mock me, of course, another one of those quests is exactly what appeared the next day. No thanks. I wasn't too upset to see no quests the day following. On the 9th, there was another Robin request, but it was for a tuna. I did contemplate about just biting the bullet and meeting Willie, but I decided against it at the last minute. There was no help wanted request for the 10th or 11th because of the luau, of which I did attend, and I did put a cauliflower into the soup. The results were just okay, and all my pain and misery paid off because I was greeted with an Alex quest. Only it's a little difficult. I mean, I have gotten iron before in the mines, but I'm not to the iron levels itself, so he is playing a little dirty here. Luckily, I got far enough into the mines to gather more of that iron, smelt an iron bar, and hand it on over to Alex. And woo! We're now at 2 hearts. Let's go! Alex takes the lead. I'm sure maybe the soup maybe had a little something to do with it, but I'm not complaining at all. It's like the Calico Desert out here, okay? Ew, what a terrible start to the next day, having to feast my eyes on another unanswered Marnie request. Wanting to be exactly like his girlfriend, Lewis put up a request the next day, and I handed over a spiceberry. We now have 2 hearts together. Maybe I should have tried to get a higher quality berry, but my resources were limited. The green rain prevented me from having a quest on the 15th, and the residual effects made it so that there was also no request on the 16th. But maybe the biohazard that is the green rain was good for the community, because there was another Alex Help Wanted quest. And this time I had a stash of topaz, so I quickly handed one over to Alex, and we're now at 3 hearts. Okay, Lewis, he definitely likes to copy other people because he put out a Help Wanted quest for a jewel, just like Alex had the day prior. Only Alex wasn't ridiculous in his ask. Lewis, on the other hand, wanted a diamond. A diamond! Absolutely diabolical behavior. Yeah, I didn't find any in the mine and hadn't come across any in my past days in the mines, so honestly, I might just tap out of this one. At least the next day, I found my spirit hat, the trash hat, and on top of it, Alex had another quest on the board, and it's a fishing request. Okay, I guess sacrifices must be made. It's time to finally meet Willie. I mean, I can't just pass up an opportunity to complete an Alex quest, so to the beach I go. I contemplated trying to fish for a better quality one, but my level is just so low, I don't think it really will matter, and surely it will take too long for comfort. If you haven't noticed, I like to turn in the quests the same day I pick them up. And oh, was I mistaken? The quest wasn't even for Alex? Oh no, I was just a dumbass and forgot to accept the quest. Rookie mistake. When I finally gave him another fish, after he acted like he didn't want the first one, we're at 4 heart, halfway to max friendship. To celebrate, I bought an ice cream from his stand. I've been too productive in my pursuit of hoarding crops in case I need them for a quest, because Demetrius shows up at my door asking for what cave I want. What I want is for you to leave. Please go away. To add insult to injury, Willie showed up with a training rod. I'm so confused because I've never had this happen in my life, but first thing was first. I had to throw that training rod away for good measure. But Willie, no matter what you do, I'm never going to complete a quest for you, even if I have the misfortune of properly knowing who you are. And I'm also not going to complete the quests from the wizard either. And I don't even get the opportunity to pick up any other quests because there are none on the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. There might as well be none on the 25th because again, it's from the wizard. And to rub salt in my wound, the request on the 26th is from Clint. To end the season on the wrong foot, there's no requests on days 27 or 28. I end the summer season with 4 hearts with Alex, 2 with Robin, and Lewis. Alex has taken the lead, but will he be able to maintain it? I sure hope so. Fall is not off to a great start. A more labor-intensive quest board was finally unlocked, and there was no good quest, so I picked up Lewis's request and hit the mines. No new request was waiting for me the next day, but I still had Lewis's request I had picked up the other day, so I scurried on over to finish that. And would you look at that, Lewis and I now have 3 hearts, 1 behind Alex and 1 ahead of Robin. There was a slime quest on the 4th I ignored, then there was no quest on the 5th. On the 6th, Lewis was once again requesting my services, so I quickly fished up a seaweed. Only the best for my clients. And Lewis must have thought so because look, we're now at 4 hearts. He sure is catching up quickly. With the prize ticket he gave me, I got my first Stardrop tea, and I really contemplating using it on Alex. I mean, if you think about it, it is a reward for completing help wanted quests, but I just feel like it would feel too much like cheating. I know it doesn't really count towards the gift limit, it just feels wrong. After the streak of Lewis quests, or what felt like it at least, the 7th and 8th had no quests waiting for me. On the 9th, Marnie was requesting my services. Think again, cowgirl. Get out of here. Willie decided to step in and have 2 requests on both the 10th and 11th. And throughout this time, I could only really find comfort in the fact at least my cat loved me, because no one else certainly does. I'm trying real hard here to get people to love me, but I guess I'm not good enough. So on the 12th, I said screw it, and I actually completed a quest for Willie. I know I said I wouldn't do it, but I hope this madman will finally leave me alone. And I did get a reprieve on the 13th, but then the wizard was trying to elicit my services. Then there's silence on the 15th. The 16th was the fair, so of course there were no quests. I did display my super strength, physically at least, because mentally, on the other hand, well, I mistakenly bet on orange. Yes, I know it's green. It's always green. And I made this exact mistake in my Mayo video. The video, for reference, I recorded right before this one, and I didn't learn from my mistakes. I only have myself to blame. But I don't want to talk about it anymore. Thank you very much. I was glad to see a Robin request the next day on the 17th. She even had one of those bigger requests, so I picked that one up too while I was at it. But I think she's robbing me of her hearts because we're still at 3 hearts after I forked over that largemouth bass. The 18th had little to offer with no requests. Not that the 19th was much better because it was a Demetrius request. Willie decided to join in on the fun on the 20th, right before I bought the rest of the stone Robin wanted, and oh, she's still at 3 hearts. Those big requests kind of suck. You heard it here. Never again. The bad luck continued on day 21 with a Marnie request, but I couldn't deny fate. There was a conveniently placed purple mushroom on my farm, so I had to give it to her, okay? I had no choice, and so I guess I now have 1 heart with Marnie as well. My brain was truly rotted to the core because on the 22nd, I picked up and fulfilled an aquamarine quest for Willie. So I now have 1 heart with Willie as well. Add him to the collection, why don't you? There was no quest on the 23rd, and would you believe it if I said I got all the way to 8 hearts with Alex? It was truly a feat, one for the history books, but I just forgot to record it. You'll just have to trust me. Oh, you don't? You don't trust me? Well, it was worth a try. I did actually forget to hit record for days 24 to 28, but don't worry, I do have my trusty notes, and you can be assured nothing too good happened. There was no request on the 24th. On the 25th, Robin requested an earth crystal. Luckily for her, I had a massive supply. I did, in fact, run in front of the train that day, so I think maybe that's why the footage footage isn't here. It was just too graphic. The Earth Crystal pushed Robin over the edge to 4 hearts, and then days 26, 27, and 28 had no quests. So really much of nothing happened in those last days. And yes, if you paid attention, there were no Alex requests. Brutal. So I ended fall with 4 hearts with Alex, 4 with Robin, and 4 with Lewis. It's honestly anyone's game at this point. To keep up with the trend of no requests, there's none on the first or second. There might as well be none on the third because it's a slime request. There's none on the fourth either. I continued to lose sight of the goal at hand, and I picked up a Willy request for some refined quartz. But I remained at 1 heart with him. I repeated this trend the next day and picked up another Willy request, but this one was for 2 squids, so I decided I didn't want to spend my time doing that. Ew, since Pierre paid a visit, now I know this fool. And there was nothing I could do about it. At least I got a rabbit's foot from my cat. There was no request that day, so I'll take what I can get. There was no request on the 8th because of the festival. I went, but then quickly regretted it, so I left. Clint, get out of here. No one wants you here. Finally, another Robin request. She wanted an aquamarine, so I headed to the mines. After some treacherous time, risking my life, I found the gem in question, and would you look at that? I have 5 hearts with Robin. Looks like Robin has taken the lead. And then I'm hit with a string of uneventful days. On the 11th, it was a lame slime slaying quest. There was none on the 12th. The wizard had one on the 13th. There was none on the 14th. Another slime quest appeared on the 15th. Then there was no requests on the 16th. Demetrius shook things up and posted a request on the 17th, but you guessed it, I ignored it. There was none on the 18th. And Demetrius did end up wearing me down because on the 19th, I picked up his quest for the snow yam, and my effort wasn't even enough for a heart. Business was back to usual with a slime request on the 20th. I see the light. I repeat, I see the light. Or wait, no, I don't mean that. I mean, there's a light at the end of the tunnel because I have another Alex quest. You heard that right. After an extended sabbatical, Alex is back at it. And he's playing hard to get once again. He wants a squid. Why? Why would he do this to me? Fishing with all my might, I somehow managed to pull it off and catch one eventually. And it's silver. I'm not even gonna attempt for gold. Willy is straight up whack the next day asking for a catfish. Send him to Zuzu City. I heard they have great therapists there. I patiently waited for Alex, and I hit 5 hearts with Alex. Only 3 more to go. Robin and Alex are now tied at 5 hearts, but we need 5 more with Robin and only 3 more with Alex, while Lewis brings the rear with 4 hearts. And while I was at it, I unlocked the friendship book from the prize machine. You bet I read that book. It makes befriending quicker. I mean, let's be honest here. I need all the help I can get. It's almost a year of hard work, and I have no lasting friendships to show for it. Demetrius was inspired by my man Alex, asking for squid, but not again, not again. Day 24 had no requests, as well as day 25. I decided to skip the festivities because I couldn't risk getting to know anyone else. The people I know already are dragging me down. Willy was out of his mind, requesting a midnight carp. You have a fishing shop and a rod. Fish it up yourself, dude. Lewis wanted to catch up to Alex and Robin, so he requested a red mullet. I caught that sucker, no problem, and now everyone is tied with 5 hearts at the end of year 1. All that work to basically be only halfway done. Brilliant. To close the end of the year, Clint had to get one final word in. I still don't know how I don't know him, since he did give me that furnace recipe, but it's his loss. I'm not complaining. With the start to year 2 here, I am forced to meet Kent. Great. I bet that won't bite me in the ass later. And are you kidding me? Demetrius is back at it with those fishing requests. I need to call pest control to get Demetrius out of here Seriously. Ew, the next day is even worse. There's a Pierre request, which is followed up by another nameless, but I see you, Lewis, slime request. Demetrius did manage to shake it up, asking for a daffodil, so I obliged and gave him one. Not that he deserves it for the record. Then on days 5, 6, and 7, there are no quests to be seen. Everyone must have taken a vacation. Robin is not shy to break through these dull days and ask for a topaz. She knew I had a supply, so I quickly forked one over, and she once again pulls ahead with 6 hearts, with both Alex and Lewis lagging behind with 5. I did not see that one coming. There was no request on the 9th, but then Lewis was getting jealous, so he requested an iron bar. I chucked some iron into the furnace, and once I handed over the iron bar, Lewis and I reached 6 hearts, leaving Alex behind. And I accidentally spent all my hard-earned money on coffee. Just like real life, I suppose. Clint had another request on day 11, but I wanted to test something out, even if it was a little bit late in the game to experiment like this. Regardless, I restarted the day, but oh, it's still a Clint request. Ew. There was no request on day 12 and 13. I had to win the egg hunt and assert my dominance before getting back to the grind, but there was no quest to pick up the next day. I ignored the Clint quest on the 15th. On the 16th, Lewis requested an aquamarine, and somehow these villagers have a thing for this and topaz. I headed to the mines in search of this stupid gem that I don't have a supply of. Yet again, Willie had a request that would remain unanswered. I gave Lewis an aquamarine, and we're still at 6 hearts, so he did not take the lead. There was no request on the 18th. Demetrius did have one on the 19th, not that it would get completed. Another slime request popped up on the 20th, and Kent had a request for an aquamarine. That could have been Alex's request. I just know it. I know it in my bones. But no, Kent had to introduce himself to me. I was happy to see a Robin request. She wanted some wood, so I quickly chopped down 2 trees. Despite this, we remained at 6 hearts, giving some time for Alex to come in here and catch up if he ever takes the hint. No request was waiting for me on the 23rd. The 24th was the flower dance. I was tempted to dance with Alex and gain all that extra sweet friendship, but I talked myself out of it. Pierre, get out of here. No one wants to help you. Willie was asking for a gold bar. I'm not even to those levels in the mines, so I'm not really sure why he's asking so much of me. Marnie, stop. You're getting in my way. Anytime I see a Pierre, Marnie, or Kent quest, I'm just like, it could have been Alex. To end this second spring off, I was left with just a slime quest. So yes, that means it's another season with no Alex requests. Robin and Lewis have taken the lead with 6 hearts, and Alex lags behind with 5. It's not looking too good for Alex, even if he does require less hearts, because his quests are coming few and far between. Moving into the second summer season, I'm greeted with another slime request. To follow that up, Pierre has a request, and then Kent joins in. Then Pierre again. I hate everything, just so you know. Oh, thank God. On the 5th, Robin requested a topaz. After quickly giving her one, we reached 7 hearts. Lewis still has 6, and Alex still has 5. I'm kind of losing hope for my man Alex at this point. Like I mentioned before, Lewis has a pattern of getting jealous, so the next day, as expected, he requested a rainbow trout. Funnily enough, my cat actually gave me one in the morning. I tried to fish one for better quality, but I just wasn't succeeding, so I handed one over to Lewis, hitting 7 hearts in the process, meaning he's now caught back up with Robin. The board was empty on the 7th. Demetrius had a request on the 8th. To follow up her husband, Robin requested some wood. This effort did not pay off since we stayed at 7 hearts. There were no requests on day 10 or 11. I went to the luau, but didn't participate this time. It's kind of depressing when you don't put anything in. The board was still empty on the 12th. Willie did have a request on the 13th, but once again, there was nothing there on the 14th. On the 15th, Robin stepped it up again and asked for a tuna. I went straight to work hoping to catch one of these beasts. I tried to get a gold one, and you know what? what? I did get my hands on one, but Robin didn't seem to care because we stayed at 7 hearts. There was no request on the 16th. Demetrius had one the next day, and finally, the drought has ended. Alex requested an earth crystal on the 18th. I have plenty of those stashed away. He was hard to find, but once I did locate him and give him his earth crystal, we reached 6 hearts. Even with the 6th heart, he's still in last place. Pick up the pace, Alex. I said no thank you to Marnie's request. I proceeded to say no to the wizard, Willie, and then Demetrius before days 23 and 24 had no requests for me to deny. Willie was back at it on the 25th asking for my help, and on the 26th, Alex had another request, but it was for a red cabbage. He's a certified monster. This is so evil. I'm so mad at myself. I planted at least one of every crop for these stupid requests, but I forgot Pierre got new seeds every year because I don't pay attention to him. So needless to say, I had no red cabbage, but there was hope. The traveling cart was visiting and there's nothing there. And the speed grow at Pierre's isn't good enough. I have soiled my chances at another heart. I guess see your next request in a month, Alex, if I would get so lucky. To make matters even more depressing, there were no requests on the 27th or 28th, which leaves Robin at 7 hearts, Lewis at 7 hearts, and Alex at 6. Still recovering from my own stupidity, there was no request on the 1st of fall. I wouldn't have expected otherwise. Day 2 brought on a quest from the wizard. I obviously ignored that. The next day, there was a slime slaying request. Robin asked for a hazelnut on the 4th, so I made sure to get her a gold quality one, and she once again takes the lead with 8 hearts. It's not looking so good for Alex. Kent wanted a gold bar. Stop asking me for things I can't give. I've already given up so much. Clint was next to post a request, and then Willie followed right behind. On the 8th, the wizard was requesting my services, but no one posted anything on days 9 or 10. Pierre of all people requested next, and I would never fulfill it even if my life depended on it. I mean, if I did give him a bok choy, he'd probably convince himself he was the one who grew it. Despite ignoring his request, Pierre was back at it the next day looking for another crop. No thanks. Inspired by Pierre, Kent was asking for a bok choy. No, I thought I told you to get out of here. Days 14 and 15 had no requests. The 16th was the fair, but I did not even attempt to spin the wheel this time. I learned my lesson. What can I say? The wizard requested my help, a request that went unanswered. Finally, on the 18th, Robin had another request. She wanted a super cucumber. I thought I might have had one already, but it was just a regular sea cucumber, so to the beach I went. I caught a sea cucumber right away, but as it turns out, it was way too early for a super cucumber to make an appearance. So I waited and waited. I think I got one on the line there for a second, but then I lost it. However, I did manage to wrangle up a gold quality one at the end of the day. I ignored Marnie's request and waited patiently for Robin to open. I threw my super cucumber at her and we now have 9 hearts. Robin is in the lead, followed again by Lewis, still at 7 hearts, and Alex stuck at 6. The wizard was back at it requesting for my help on the 20th. There was no request on the 21st. On the 22nd, Robin requested again. She wanted some stone, so I gathered that up quickly before she opened, but as you could imagine, it was not enough to tip us over into 10 heart territory. There was no request on the 23rd, but Lewis did try to catch up on the 24th, asking for a red mushroom. I had a silver quality one, so I handed that over and reached 8 hearts with Lewis. In the process, I also got the achievement for finishing 40 help wanted requests. It feels like I've done 400 of them, not just 40. On the 25th, Clint had a request, followed up by an empty board the next day. The 27th had none because of the festival, and Kent closed the fall out with one final request. To end the second fall season, Robin has pulled ahead with 9 hearts, Lewis is close behind with 8, and sadly, Alex has really fallen behind with 6 hearts, but we won't blame him. I hate to see it, but we are in winter of year 2, and no BFF has been secured. 3rd. The wizard tried to solicit my help, but he can think again. There was no request on the 2nd, and on the 3rd, Pierre wanted a fish, and I just know it's because he's a stinky person. There was another ignored wizard request, and then there were no requests on days 5, 6, 7, 8. I skipped the festival this year, not really in that holiday spirit, and day 9. Robin broke this long streak of no requests on day 10, asking for wood. And I had hoped that this would be enough, that my wood would be enough to fill her up, fill her heart up, but it was not. We still only had 9 hearts. Again, on the 11th, there was no request. Demetrius tried to calm me out of my time for his request on the 12th. Clint followed suit the next day. And would you look at that? Robin has a request on the 14th for a red snapper. I went on over to the beach and caught a red mullet. Yes, you heard that correctly. I thought it was a red snapper. I even made sure it was iridium quality. I gave it to Robin, but she was not so happy. Oh yeah, it's just the wrong fish. So I headed back to the beach and fished up another. Only it was still the wrong fish. Turns out, another diabolical move by Concerned Ape. You can fish a red snapper in the winter if you use a rain totem. I can't craft one of those. I'm not that advanced. I can't fulfill this request, and are you kidding me? I was so close. I desperately tried looking through all the trash, but I was not lucky enough. To make matters even worse, Clint had a request the next day, then the wizard, then Willie, and then the wizard again. Get these men out of here, unless it's Alex. But at this point, I don't have much faith. Thankfully, Robin, like she does so often, took pity on me and posted another fishing request for a perch this time. I headed on over to the mountain lake and made sure to get that gold quality fish. The reminder of that red mullet is still there, pretending to look like I gave Robin a gift. But finally, I have reached 10 hearts with someone in this godforsaken town. I have successfully befriended someone purely through quests. But at what cost? At what cost? Honestly, this was so much fun, but also, yes, it was a tad bit irritating, especially at the end. However, if I was ever to do this again, which I highly doubt I would do anytime soon, I'm still recovering emotionally, as you could imagine. I would not sell anything, so I wouldn't meet Marnie or Demetrius, and I would embrace fishing earlier. I don't know if that would necessarily help the timeline, but I do choose to believe it wouldn't for my own sake. And look at that. Even the Star Drop T couldn't bring me to 8 hearts with Alex. I guess we were doomed from the start. And with that, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you like. Stay tuned for similar videos in the future. Bye!